How many of us here know and like U2? All right, good. So you'll know what I'm talking about. Do you know much about this song, October, that they just sang? It's a very unique U2 song. Bono, The Edge, and Adam were very close to breaking up because they felt that the path they were on of becoming rock stars was going to get in the way of some very foundational faith issues for them. And so they strongly considered breaking up as a band. And that is a ballad that is about not necessarily the respect that they found for each other, although that was important for it, not necessarily the respect that they got for others, for the music industry, but ultimately a respect for God, who would, in fact, get them through it all. I looked that up. I don't just naturally know that, because I know when Bruce picks something, it's meaningful. R.E.S.P.E.C.T. Sound familiar? Find out what it means to me, sang Aretha Franklin. And she convinced us that it means a lot. First of all, there's the fact that R.E., and that's what her family called her, R.E. Matter of fact, one of those refrains in the song, R.E., that's them, a nod to R.E., what they called Aretha when she was a kid. So the fact that R.E., and that's what her family calls her, was born in 1942. Not exactly the optimal time for a young girl of color to be breaking barriers. R.E.'s mom left her dad and family because of infidelity and control issues when she was only 6 years old. By the time she was 10 years old, as a prodigy, she was singing in her dad's church choir. In the next 2 years, her mom died, and R.E. became selectively mute for a couple of weeks. And those same 2 years, she became with child. Yes, at 12 years young. Do you see why, like her father, she lost control, and she got lost in addiction, and she got lost in infidelity? Can you imagine, after all that she lost, what respect means for her? I can't fathom how she found her voice, let alone became the queen of soul with more accolades, awards, honors, records sold, and hits charted than we can do in a sermon, unless you want to wait and have a late kickoff. And yes, I'm talking about Monday night's kickoff. The list is that long. Look it up. It is amazing. All of her accolades, all of her awards. Yes, like the children's message, Aretha Franklin doesn't find out what respect means. Taylor Swift probably doesn't exist. I'm sorry. Or maybe it's just a little bit different. Or maybe someone else finds it. But you get the idea. Just like us, again, and again, R.E. was struggling to find what she had lost: respect. Knowing all that she'd been through, we can understand why she got lost in a storm again and again and again. And in doing so, R.E.P.E.C.T teaches us the most valuable lesson of respect. The respect the Queen of Soul longed for wasn't in controlling her music or those around her. The respect that R.E.P.E.C.T craved wasn't in the bottle or in the bedroom. The respect that Aretha Louise Franklin so desperately needed wasn't in others or even in herself. Watch the movie and tell me you don't see it. Search your heart and tell me you don't feel it. Look at your life and tell me if you haven't lived it over again and again and again. The respect that Aretha Louise Franklin, the Queen of Soul, needed was right where it's always been. It was, is, and forever shall be the respect of God. Now, let us keep ourselves firmly focused on the respect that we're talking about for this election season and beyond. It is unquestionably called the respect for others, especially in the church. And by that, Paul, the author of 1 Corinthians, means both this church and across all churches. We are not all called to be a foot. Otherwise, what good would a hand be? It's a part of the Holy One's ingenious design. So here it is, point blank, as simple as pie and as complex as a Grand Marnier soufflé. You cannot respect others unless you respect yourself. And you cannot respect yourself unless you respect God. That's the simple as apple pie part. The complex as Grand Marnier soufflé part is the why we need this other self God, 3-in-1, triune respect. And the answer is because others will wear you down. Others will hurt you. And others will sometimes even deviously scheme to destroy you. And if you don't have a rock-solid respect for yourself, there's going to be casualties. And the same is true of our respect for ourselves. There is no enemy as demoralizing, as abusive, and as destructive as the enemy that can take over our minds. And if we don't have a rock-solid respect in God, we are going to be the casualties. Do you see it? Do you get it? I didn't know if the kids would be able to define it or not, because I'm not sure I can define it. Really doesn't become Aretha Louise Franklin until she's gone through the wash a couple of times, if you know what I mean. And she's back at church. And she sings the paint off the ceiling like only the Queen of Soul can. And she did it with a recording crew. To paraphrase the 44th president, nobody embodies more fully the way that hardship and sorrow can be transformed into something so full of beauty, vitality, and hope as when Aretha can when she sings.
There was love. Oh, but now, ooh, I'm found. I see you. I've been in the midst of storm. I've already called. Don't you know that it was rain that brought me safe. So safe thus far. And don't you know that same old grace will lead me right along, right on, right on, right on home.
Friends, the world that I pray for and stubbornly believe is possible is a world of amazing grace where if one member suffers, we all suffer. And if one member rejoices, we all rejoice. If we're going to get there, we need not just to survive this election, we need to thrive through this election and many more wash cycles. The only way we're going to be able to get there is by having a rock solid respect of God that gives us a rock solid respect for ourselves in order that we can have rock solid respect with others. A 3-in-1 respect, a triune R.E.S.P.E.C.T. Amen? Amen.